How the novelty song The Streak by Ray Stevens set me on the path to naturism. An essay on unexpected influences and unforeseen paths. By Mark Bonham. In 2024, The Streak, a novelty song by veteran singer, songwriter and occasional humorist Ray Stevens, turned 50. The song was released in February 1974, and by late spring, it was inescapable, receiving airplay on both the country and pop charts. It came out just a week before the famous streaking incident at that year's Oscar ceremony, further fueling interest in the track. I was 8 years old when the song hit number 1 on the Hot 100, number 3 on the country chart, in May of that year. It stayed on top for 3 weeks and remains one of Stevens' biggest hits. The song intrigued me immediately. The idea of being naked just sounded appealing for some reason. I didn't know why. Also, a few other things happened that spring and summer that cemented my early interest in nudism. Coincidentally, around the time The Streak was released in the winter of 1974, my brother, who was 5 years older than me, insisted that we have separate rooms. My mom agreed, and he took over the room in our 3-bedroom ranch that we had previously called the den. That left me with the bigger room. While The Streak was still riding high in the charts that spring, I happened on the 1964 film A Shot in the Dark being shown on local TV one Sunday afternoon. My brother was out somewhere, and I was using the TV in his room. In this sequel to The Pink Panther, Inspector Clouseau, played by Peter Sellers, is sent to solve the murder of a cook at a mansion in the French countryside. In the course of the investigation, he traces a suspect to a resort. When he tries to enter the grounds, he is informed that he cannot proceed without removing his clothes. This is a nudist colony, he is told. Clouseau reluctantly acquiesces and roams the grounds looking for his suspect sans clothes. The whole thing is shot cleverly. The inspector holds a guitar over his middle section and later grabs a float to cover his backside. Everybody else at the resort is positioned so no breasts, genitals, or buttocks can be seen. After all, it's 1964, and it's a mainstream comedy. I'd probably heard the term nudist colony by that time, but seeing one, albeit a made-up one in a movie shot on a soundstage in London, was eye-opening. There were places you could walk around, outside, naked, and everyone was fine with it. Sadly, it would be another 20 years before I made it to such a place. However, 8-year-old me was a confirmed, though closeted, nudist. At first, that meant sleeping naked. After my mom tucked me in at night, I'd wait a few minutes, then take off my pajamas. Scared of getting caught, I would leave my underwear around one ankle. I figured I could quickly pull them back up if I needed to, which, in retrospect, probably wasn't practical. It wasn't until a few years later, when my brother went off to the Navy, that I was able to expand my horizons. My mom, a college professor, often worked late. It wasn't unusual for her to get home after 9 o'clock some nights. On those days, at least in warmer weather, as soon as I got home from school, I'd strip and spend the late afternoon and evening nude. Even though we eventually got whole house air conditioning, my mom wouldn't turn it on unless it got oppressively hot, which was fine with me. Back to The Streak. Even though the song sparked my initial interest in nudism, I never had any desire to streak. Ever. The idea of streaking runs counter to the tenets of nudism and naturism, in my opinion at least. To me, it's primarily done for shock value and humor. I don't mind the humor bit. Indeed, The Streak is supposed to be funny, as is A Shot in the Dark, for that matter. The song is not only funny, though I'm not sure why the laugh track is necessary. It has an encouraging ending as, spoiler alert, the wife of the first eyewitness to the streaking incident apparently joins the offending runner. Ethel, is that you? Stevens, in character, asks as the chorus is sung to close the tune. Put your clothes back on. Ethel. Hopefully, Ethel made it to a nice nude beach or resort.
We hope you're enjoying Planet Nude. If so, please consider a paid subscription. Your membership comes with exclusive content and supports our work. Subscribe at www.planetnude.co. This episode of Planet Nude podcast is sponsored by the Naturist Education Foundation, supporting naturist initiatives and preserving naturist history. Learn more at www.naturisteducation.org.